Hey everyone. Today I want to talk about the extrusion line that I purchased for making my own filament for my print farm. I'm going to talk about just the process of buying this, how much it cost, and then this setup that I have here for holding this equipment and having a place so that I can make it and eventually store the filament on the racks here. I have some more equipment coming, which I'm going to have here, and I'll explain what those pieces of equipment are and why I need them. But the very first thing that I purchased is this extrusion line, and that is because I got to the point in my print farm where this made sense financially to purchase it so that I can make my own filament. I'm going through about 400 kilograms a month, and after I factored in the pricing of the material that I was using, I figured within about a year and a half, 2 years, I can make my money back. And that's just if I use the filament for my own purposes. I do plan to eventually sell filament. And one of the things that I'm going to try to do differently is sell filament for the purposes of print farms. So I'm not going to put much money in marketing or anything like that. And I'm going to use this YouTube channel to help me to get it out there that I'm making high quality filament. So that will kind of also help bring my return on investment to come a lot sooner. So hopefully that plays out. But anyways, I purchased this extrusion line from a company in Alibaba. They're called, I think that's AFIR. I think that's how you say that. And this model is the AFE 30, I believe. And it's capable of 7 to 8 kilograms an hour of PLA. I think I can probably get 10 kilograms an hour out of ABS just because it flows better, which is more than that I'm going to be using. So I definitely have some room to grow with this machine. And the price for this machine was $22,000 and some change. And it took about 4 months. I ordered it in May and I got it sometime in late September. And I set it up. But the problem is that this machine runs on 380 volts. So this motor, which is a 4 kilowatt motor, it runs on 380. And I only have 220 or 240 rather, because I'm in the US. So it is single phase 240 and I had to purchase a converter. And this converter I also bought from Alibaba and it was about $2,000. The machine itself was $800, but I paid $1,200 in air freight because I did not want to wait another 3 months just to be able to turn on this machine. So I air freighted it and it was about $2,000. And basically what it does, it takes the 240 that's coming in from the outlet there. That's a 50 amp circuit, and it comes into 240. And this transformer, so this transformer was actually spec'd for 220 because in Europe they use 220. But because I'm using 240, it's going to output it to about 415 volts, which is okay because I confirmed that this extruder line can take anywhere from 380 to 480. So this is perfectly fine. And then once the transformer is up and running, I just flip this breaker and this will feed the extrusion line. Inside the extrusion line, I have another set of breakers. And so this is the main power and this is for the 220 because this is 3-phase 4-wire. So the fourth wire is a neutral and it can take one of the phases at neutral and supply 220, which the controls here run off 220. So with that, the machine turns on, runs through a boot up sequence, and this is what the interface looks like. It's in English, but you do have Chinese, English. And it's a very simple menu here. You can set your speeds for your main extruder, the tractor. It also has PID control, so the main motor and the puller will work together to always maintain a diameter of 1.75 or close to it. This extruder line is capable of 0.03 millimeter tolerance on the filament, which is pretty standard. I mean, almost everybody sells filament within that range. So this is a high quality machine. It is small in comparison. There are other extrusion lines that are out there that are about $1,500, that are much smaller units, but in my opinion, you're not going to get a really high quality filament out of those types of machines. And the reason for that is because, for one, the barrel is pretty short on those. They're probably half the size of this one. And what happens is that when you mix the filament or the raw resin with colorant, there's not enough travel to properly mix that color. And sometimes you could have some color variation if you use a much smaller extruder line. Also, the water baths, they're not long enough. So you definitely need length here, a warm water bath and then a cool water bath to help solidify and lock in that shape as the filament comes out of the mold here. So you definitely need something that can control the temperature of the water. And then most importantly is this laser gauge. So it will constantly look at the diameter of the filament and keep it within tolerance. An accumulator here for once you're ready to actually change a spool out, you can stop the winder, cut it. Well, when you cut it and this stops, the accumulator starts growing because the extruder line is still pushing out plastic. So you definitely want to keep that going. So the accumulator helps you to do that. There's tensioners here, so you can put however much tension you want on the accumulators. And then the menu for winding the spool is here, which is pretty easy to set up. And you can just set up the winder and start spooling your filament. All right, so this is 3D850 that I just bought 20 pounds off eBay so that I can test this extrusion line. And it worked well. I was able to extrude some filament and get the whole process down. It was pretty difficult to get the right parameters so that I can pull a nice extrude a nice string of filament here and then wrap it around. So that took some getting used to, but I got it and it worked great. The other thing that I purchased and it hasn't gotten here yet is in order to make high quality filaments, you need to be able to dry the material to the specifications on the data sheet. So for PLA, I believe it's somewhere around 250 parts per million. So the material has to be super dry in order to properly extrude it without degrading the material. So if the pellets have any kind of moisture in them, because of the temperature and pressure inside of this barrel, you could degrade the material properties because of that moisture. It just breaks down the polymer chains and it gives you a weak product. And so that is what could cause some spools of filament. I don't know if this has ever happened to anybody, but I have had a spool of filament that just completely exploded before, and it was just in shards all the way to the core of the spool itself. And that is a sign of really weak filament, because more than likely the company that made that filament did not properly dry the material, extruded it, and spooled it on a spool, winded it on a spool, and just sent it out. So proper drying is very critical for making high quality filament. And so I purchased a unit that should get here in about a month. It's a 75 kilogram or about 150 pound hopper. And this thing is going to be pretty big. It's about 6 feet tall. And it heats up the hopper. So it's very similar to this. So this has a heater. But the problem is that it's very humid in here. And The main difference between a heater like this one to dry your pellets and the heater, the one that I bought, the dryer, is that this fan here is sucking in the air from the ambient air, and the ambient air right now is really wet. So all this is really doing is just heating up that wet air and blowing it across the pellets. It's not feeding dry air, and the pellets are only ever going to get as dry as that air is. If you heat up air, then you can increase or lower the relative humidity, which can pull moisture from the pellets, but it's never going to be good enough to reach the 250 parts per million that the tech sheet requires. So the way you can do that, though, is to have a desiccant, some sort of desiccant mechanism to dry the air and then heat that dry air so it will blow across the pellets. And that's a much more involved process. It's a much more expensive machine. I think you can buy these for about $500. The dryer that I purchased is about $8,000. So there's a big difference there. I'm almost ready to go. I'm actually looking for a supplier. I've been trying to contact NatureWorks so that I can purchase a Gaylord of PLA. And I've been talking to some other suppliers about sourcing ABS, a Gaylord of ABS, which is about 750 kilograms. So I'll be able to start making filament, and I can't wait to do that. Hopefully within the next 2 months, I can start to do that and get the ball rolling. And I'm going to document the whole process. I'm treating quality control very, very seriously. I want to make a high quality filament, something that can compete with the best that's out there, Polymaker, guys like that. So, and I want to do it at a very low cost so that I can use it for myself, but also supply to other people that just want to grow their print farms. Filament is probably the biggest expense that you have when making your products. And if I can help you get there without having to pay for advertising, without having to pay influencers, without, having to set up a whole entire brand, because that costs so much money, I can pass those savings on to you and still give you high quality filament at a much lower cost. So one of the things that I'm going to do here is I purchased this moisture analyzer, and what this does is, this is just one of the pieces of equipment that I'm going to be using. You take your pellets here after they've been dried. This is just an example. So you put these pellets in here. But what this does is it has a halogen lamp, and it heats and dries that material, and it takes the weight before it was dry and then after it was dry, and it gives you a moisture content. And this is how you can confirm if your material meets the specifications from the manufacturer of the pellets before extrusion. So that's one way that you can ensure that you have a dry filament. So anyways, I know this is sort of just a random rambling video. I just wanted to start documenting the process here. And if you're interested in a machine like this, yeah, I mean, I'll be happy to answer some questions, anything like that. And if you just have any questions in general, just feel free to comment, and I'll respond back. All right, have a good one.